right, here we are doing a live filmmaking Q&A on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. This week, I'm basically taking this week off. This is my vacation week, so I'm just chillaxing at home. I don't have any shooting to do this week, and I don't have any. I actually edited 3 weeks in advance for some of my clients, so that's good. It's really good. So I get to take this week off and make more content for you. I'm actually right now currently awaiting my, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Right now, I'm currently awaiting my new gimbal from Came TV. It's supposed to arrive any hour, any minute. So I'm actually going to do 2 live sessions with you guys today. We're going to be doing a live filmmaking Q&A, which is what I'm doing right now, and we're also going to be doing a live unboxing of the Came TV Argo, which is a new camera stabilizer. It's fairly new. I ordered it last week, and I purchased this not only to make a review video, but to see how it behaves compared to a professional glide cam or steady cam, to see which stabilizer does a better job stabilizing. So while we wait for that to arrive, again, like I said earlier, we are going to be doing 2 live videos today, one right now with live filmmaking questions and one live unboxing of the Came Argo. So I've been debating whether I should get the Came TV Argo or the DJI Ronin M, and I went for the Came TV Argo because it doesn't need to be relied on an app. The remote controller is just one little joystick, and I don't know, I just feel like Came TV is more for film. DJI is more for drones. Came TV does more like cranes, jibs, sliders like this and that. DJI is more focused towards drones. And I was a little bit upset that the Ronin got poor reviews. It got 4 stars, which for me is, for something that's $1,000, is not a good ranking. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up some questions here. I want you guys to ask some filmmaking questions, anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and check the feed and make sure and see if you guys have any questions for me. So give me a second here, and I'm gonna pull up some questions, and we will get started. Okay. MC Drone, Josh, I just ordered a DJI Osmo Mobile. Is there any tips you can offer to create cinematic shots, please? Alright, cool. So with the DJI Osmo, as you already probably know, I sold my DJI Osmo, but I didn't have the mobile. I had the regular Osmo with the X3 camera. If you check out some of my earlier videos, I show you how to perfectly hold the Osmo so you get incredibly stable shots. So that's definitely one way you can get those cinematic shots that you're looking for. Stability is key. After stability comes the rule of thirds. That's actually the most important thing. The rule of thirds is a form of composition, film composition. Basically what you're gonna do is there's a setting in the DJI Go app that actually lets you see thirds. So there's basically a grid on the screen that pops up. And the rule of thirds, I need to make a tutorial video on this. It's kind of difficult to explain quickly, but it's a compositional rule which shows you how to divide certain subjects in a shot. So I'm going to make a video on the rule of thirds. That's definitely an excellent cinematic tip that I could give you. Is if you don't want to wait for me to make the review video, I'm like backed up, months of videos backed up. I have so many things that I need to shoot. So I probably won't make the rule of thirds video at least for another month. So if I were you, I would check out some other videos on YouTube about the rule of thirds. Check out some other compositional videos. Google it, join some film forums, and ask other filmmakers out there what are some good compositional techniques. Because composition, as a filmmaker, composition I think is the most important aspect in filmmaking. That really draws the line between an amateur and a professional filmmaker. It's composition by far. So go ahead and Google composition, rule of thirds. You will definitely learn a lot about that. Okay, let's see. What's a really good cheap shoulder rig I can purchase? What is Bennett? What is your budget? What is your budget? Because there's shoulder rigs that can be 30, 40 bucks, and then there's shoulder rigs that can go up to over $1,000. That's probably not what you mean by cheap, but 30 bucks, there's a shoulder rig on Amazon. Let me go ahead and pull up the link here. I have one of these shoulder rigs. I haven't used it because I never really needed it. I just use my Joby as a shoulder rig. And maybe you want it too, but maybe you want to add some accessories. If you want to add accessories, the Joby is not good for that. If you want to add like a monitor, follow focus, you need, a more of a professional shoulder rig. But let's see if I can find you a good cheap shoulder rig on Amazon here. Something that I think is a good one. Here we go. This is a good one. You can get a pretty good shoulder rig for 70 bucks. Actually 60 bucks. Here, let me go ahead and send you the link right now. This is a good starter. 60 bucks. Okay, perfect. So check out that link. That's going to direct you to a shoulder rig that's $59.99. It has decent reviews, but again, it's a starting rig. So it's good enough, I believe. Yeah, it can mount. It can mount your camcorder or DSLR, whatever you're using, and you can actually find a way to mount some accessories like an LED light or something like that. So check that out. Let me know what you think, and yeah. Okay, next question. Okay, how can a matte box improve your shots? So, I don't use a matte box because I need to be extremely portable. So I use mainly a lens hood, but a matte box really avoids any incoming outside ambient light coming in and creating some weird flares. So a matte box is really it's not shallow like a lens hood is. It's actually quite deep, which means that the lens is farther back and there is more of a cover. So the risk of ambient light coming through is very, very small with a matte box. Matte box do wonders. I remember when I was taking film courses, I used Red Scarlet, Red Epic, and a Red Weapon, and we always use matte boxes because we were using RE lights that were extremely powerful, and without a matte box you would see some unwanted glares, and a matte box really gets rid of those unwanted glares. So check out there's some really cheap matte boxes that you can get on Amazon. But yeah, if you're mobile like me, I actually just filmed a music video last month professionally with a crew. We didn't use a matte box. We ended up using just a hood because we used a tiny rig. We had to fit in cramped spaces, so we preferred using a lens hood instead of a matte box because matte boxes are rather large. And also some matte boxes provide protection for the lens because they actually close up. So they actually can protect your lens too from dust or anything like that. Okay, next question. You have a question regarding the Osmo Pro because I can't get a joystick sensitivity the way I can manually move the gimbal. Um, yeah, you can manually move the gimbal by hand. Don't worry about damaging the motors. But again, you have to be very gentle. When I had my X3 Osmo, I was able to just gently move the camera, and it stayed in the position that I left it at with my hands. So you want to be pretty gentle. Of course, if a motor doesn't want to go a certain way, leave it alone and don't touch it, but that's unlikely. So you can gently just move the camera that you're using, and the motors will actually follow your movement. And they will stick that way. So keep that in mind. Um, Spencer, you're thinking about buying a matte box and some ND filters 4x4 for it. Yeah. ND filter. What camera are you using, by the way? Let me know what camera you're using, Spencer, and then maybe I can help you out. Find a matte box that's a cheap price and a pretty good quality one. I'll be honest with you. China is starting to make a lot of impressive film gear. I remember 10 years ago it was all about American stuff. American gear was the best. You know, nothing could beat American quality. But now China is really starting to compete. And I have to say, from looking at DJI, which is a Chinese company, from looking at how MacBook Pros are being built, which is also Chinese, American design but Chinese, China is really stepping up with production quality, I have to say. Even though there's a lot of doubts in the world about China producing, they do a pretty good job. I'm pretty happy with all my Chinese equipment that I have. Very, very happy. And the gimbal that I'm getting is also Chinese. Came TV is a Chinese company. And what I like, here's the thing. There's a difference between purchasing something that was designed in America and manufactured in China, and something that was designed and manufactured in China. I would strongly prefer that if you're going to buy Chinese equipment, that you also have it designed in China. Think quality. If you want the best quality, always buy something that's designed and manufactured in the same country. I learned that the hard way. You know, countries take pride in what they make, so you are always going to get the best quality equipment if you buy something that was designed and manufactured in the same country. So that's a little tip for you there. Why do you think DJI is doing so well? Designed and manufactured in China. Why do you think Kane TV is doing so well? Designed and manufactured in China. The sliders that I have are all Chinese, designed and manufactured in China. So the quality is beautiful, great quality. You want to remember that. That's a really good filmmaking tip. When you buy equipment, make sure, at least try your best, to have the equipment designed and manufactured in the same country. Alright, so, okay. Panasonic Lumix G7. I have the GH4, not the G7. So let me get a quick look at the camera. I'm not a big follower of Panasonic stuff, so I need to remind myself what the G7 is. Okay, it's similar body. Okay. I'm gonna send you a link to a good matte box. Take a look at it. Check on Amazon here. And also compare it to Amazon, eBay prices too. Fatka is a good company. I mean, you can buy a cheap matte box like this one here that I'll send you. It's 55 bucks. I mean, this is all if you're on a budget. If you're in a film crew, film production company, obviously you're going to have a bigger budget, so you'll be able to purchase more expensive matte boxes. But right now, as a freelancer, get stuff cheaply as long as it gets your job done and with quality. That's my motto. When you're by yourself, when you're working on your own, Buy cheap equipment as long as it gets the job done well. All right? You don't need to be overspending on stuff that you don't need. I have a buddy of mine who constantly tells me, Josh, you need to buy a Red, you need to buy an Ari, you need to buy all these things. And I'm telling him, I'm saying, no, I don't need those things because the equipment I currently have is more than enough of what I need. Half of the equipment I have, I barely use because I overbought. So when you're a freelancer, it's very, very difficult to control your spending, especially with all this new technology coming out. So I try to convince that friend and tell him that I don't need a Red, I don't need an Ari or an Alexa. I don't need it because what I'm doing right now for the internet and what I'm doing for my clients, I don't need those cameras. And plus, the Sony A7 series is a small camera, which gives me cinematic quality and production quality shots. It's very mobile. I can put it in a suitcase without worrying about anything breaking. With an Ari Alexa, you know, you have to be very, very fragile with it, especially transporting big, expensive lenses. Like, I don't need any of that. And I have to worry about airline insurance, like I just don't want to worry about that. However, if I have a team of people working with me, yes, I would love to have an Ari Alexa because I would always have somebody else watching my equipment with me. I don't want to be by myself and responsible by myself with such expensive equipment. It's just too much. I have too many things to keep track of. If you have a team of people, if you're working for a production company, yes, the Alexa, Ari, you know, even the Inspire 2, the Matrice, huge $10,000-$50,000 drones, like, yes, then it makes sense. But when you're a freelance filmmaker, you have to do things that are cost efficient but get the job done. Okay? All right. All right. Any more questions, my friends? Get some more coming in. So Fotka is a good company. I actually have so if you want to buy the matte box from them, do it. It all depends on price now. But however, before buying, YouTube the matte boxes. There's all these different review videos on YouTube about these matte boxes and different film equipment. Always watch review videos before buying. Always. Always, always, always. If it's not available in stores, watch these review videos. Alright. I have the Fotka EF to E-mount adapter, and it works pretty well. It even communicates with the Sony cameras. Not that well, but for $100, it's a pretty good adapter. Gets me good stuff. Things that I want, basically. All right, so let's have some more questions come in, guys. Have some more questions come in. I think we should talk a little bit about budgeting. I don't think we've covered that well enough in my other videos, but budgeting is key. Just like I talked earlier a few moments ago about how you should never overspend on stuff that you don't need. For example, the Inspire 1. My favorite drone. I love my DJI Inspire 1. However, was it a good purchase for what I need? At the time, I thought it was. But now looking back at it and how big it is and how expensive the batteries are and the flight time, you know, I'm looking back at it and I'm thinking to myself, no, it wasn't the best purchase because it's bulky, it's big, it's hard to transport, batteries are expensive, and flight time is not that great. So I'm looking at the Mavic right now and the Phantom 4 Pro, and I'm saying to myself, yes, those are the drones for me. They're cost efficient and they get me good image quality. The Inspire 2, my honest opinion about the DJI Inspire 2, too expensive for what it is. Too expensive. Yes, you get dual battery, heated battery compartments. Yes, you do get forward obstacle avoidance and an FPV camera. But you buy a drone that's $3,000 and you don't get a camera with it. So for me, it's not that great. And the camera, the P4, what is it? The 4S, right? X4S. It's okay. It's a good camera. But if you're gonna buy something like the Inspire 2, the X4S is kind of a useless camera. Go for, if you're gonna go all out, go all out. Don't buy the Inspire 2 with the X4S. Buy the Inspire 2 with the X5S RAW. You're gonna spend 10 grand, but in the long run, if you're investing so much money in just a drone, you might as well invest the money into the camera as well. So that's my opinion. Thank you, MC Drone. Happy New Year to you as well. I hope you guys had a great Christmas, and those of you who are Jewish, having a great Hanukkah. 2017 will be an excellent year, so I'm excited for that. Spencer, I was looking at this map box because people say that it works really well. Yeah, I'm telling you, Fotga is a good company. Fotga, Fotga. They're a pretty good company. So I wouldn't hesitate buying from them. And plus, if you're buying from Amazon, you got a return policy too. So if anything goes wrong, boom, you got 30 days to return it. Cool. What other questions can we ask? Is anyone looking for a new camera to buy? That's the stuff I really like talking about. Looking at new cameras. I always look at new cameras. So is anyone looking at new cameras? Right now, I'm waiting for Sony to release the A7S Mark III. That's the camera I'm going to keep my eyes on. I'm going to sell my A7S Mark I, keep my A7R Mark II. I don't know what I'm going to do with my GH4 yet. Still debating whether I should sell it or not. But A7S Mark III will be coming out, I think, late 2017 or mid 2017. So I will be looking forward to that. That's the camera I have my eye on. If you're looking to upgrade from what you currently have, I would wait until mid 2017 because that's when a whole bunch of new equipment is going to be coming out. Late 2017, we're going to be seeing some new DJI stuff coming out. Possibly even April, actually. April 2017, we're going to probably see a Phantom 5 if everything goes as planned. Alright, so Phantom 5 from DJI, I'm sure that will be coming out soon. Alright, Alyssa Borko. I'm a student and I'm trying to build my film portfolio, but I find it hard to be able to purchase equipment. What are some of your go-to pieces that can enhance film quality? Go-to pieces. Number one, you gotta have a camera body. Right after the camera body, it's lens. A lens is just as important, if not more important, than the camera body. Lenses, it's all about the glass you use. I mean, I have a Canon lens, I have Canon lenses, and I have Sony Zeiss lenses. I mean, the Zeiss is my favorite lens, but you have a price tag with that. There is definitely a big bump in price with the Zeiss, but when it comes down to image quality, it definitely has to do with, I would say, more with the lens than with the camera body itself. Lenses, a bad lens on a good camera will get you bad image quality. A good lens on a decent whatever camera will get you good quality images. So I would think that a lens is probably even a little more important than the camera body itself. So, so you find it hard to be able to purchase equipment. Alyssa, what kind of films do you want to make? Like, give me more information. What's a cinematographer that you like? Who are you following on YouTube that inspires you? That would be some good information for me to know, so I can help you find out like what you would need. So let me know. Let me close this. It's a little bright. Should be better. It's really getting cold in LA and I don't like it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. You know, camera lenses, just as important, if not more important than a camera body. Keep that in mind. All right. What else, guys? What else do we have here that we can talk about? Any more questions? I know I wanted to talk about budgeting. Budgeting is very, very important because that can make or break you. I started off broke, um, doing movies, not movies, but like videos for YouTube and for clients. I started with a little Canon camcorder. Uh, I didn't I didn't really know anything about budgeting until I got my first professional client when I started getting paid thousands instead of just hundreds. Um, and I just started looking at my bank account and noticing things change. And my biggest tip to you is to keep an Excel spreadsheet. Always keep a tab on your expenses. And if I were you, I would take a look at gear you use every day or on every shoot and compare it to the gear that you hardly use and see if by selling that gear that you hardly use makes a difference in your overall workflow. If it doesn't, then sell it. Get rid of it. If you don't need it, get rid of it. Um, I don't buy things unless I feel like I need to improve on my videos. All my tools that I use are meant to improve my videos. Obviously, they can't give me ideas. Ideas come from up here, but they can give me ways to perform shots. They can give me flexibility. They're creative tools. That's what I call them. So when you're budgeting, you have to look at things and say to yourself, how can I use this? That was my issue with the Inspire 1. Because it looked so cool, I bought it out of impulse. I didn't say to myself, oh, how can I use this for my filmmaking? I just bought it out of impulse. Right away, just bought it. Literally, I think 2 weeks after it came out was when I saw the first video of it. After I saw the video, boom, I just bought it. I didn't even look at any review videos when I just impulse bought it. So you never want to do that because then you're going to look at your bank account the next day, and then you're going to be your jaw's going to be like completely dropped to the floor because you're going to realize you're in the negatives. So don't do that. Spencer, you do graph expenses, but you use Wave accounting. It's an online one. You can send invoices and quotes and make it seem much more professional. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I also use an online service for invoicing, but I didn't know there was an online service for tracking your expenses. That's great. That's really good. So yeah, take Spencer's advice, and Spencer, share with us, please, if you can, the name of the website you're using to track expenses, because that would be really useful for people who are watching the stream to learn how to graph expenses, track expenses, and find out what they need. When it comes down to expenses, don't just track your equipment. Track your gas that you use to drive from places. Track your food, how much food you're eating, where you're eating, what you're eating, how expensive it is. Track everything that sucks out money. Even if it's a cent, parking meters, doesn't matter. Track everything that sucks out money. If you don't, you're not going to you won't be able to get a proper reading of how much you're spending, and that's not good, especially when you do your taxes. For me, my taxes have been pretty easy because I keep all my receipts and all that good stuff. So I make sure that I'm good on my taxes, and make sure you keep all of your invoices, everything from clients. Make sure you have all of that stuff down. Also, if you have a business, you have to have a business license. You need to get tax exemption from purchases for your business. I have a business license. So this is something you have to do through the state, whatever state you're in. Go to your state's website, or actually just better yet, type in Google your state and business license, and you'll be able to fill out a form. There's a fee they have to pay. I think it's like 200 something. Depends on the state. You get a business license, and then you'll be able to file for tax exemption for or tax reduction for certain purchases, which is what I do. And you'll be surprised how much less your taxes become when the government sees that you're spending a lot on your business. So your taxes go down. Okay? Don't forget that, especially in California, entrepreneurs are welcomed. They're praised. In America in general, entrepreneurs are praised. They provide work. They create work. So the government is better to entrepreneurs than corporations. They want work to be flourishing, and entrepreneurs do just that. So they take off some strain with entrepreneurs. At least what I see and what I'm doing, it looks to me like taxes are a little bit lighter being an entrepreneur. All right, next question. What else do we have here, guys? Let me know. So I want to share with you the Panasonic GH5. Now, the Panasonic GH4 I think came out in late 2013 or early 2014. And that was a revolution, because that was, I think, one of the first cameras with a micro four thirds sensor to produce 4K imagery, 8-bit and 10-bit through a recorder. And 10-bit is, wow, that's impressive. The Sony cameras can't do that. So I'm trying to get the specs out here for the GH5. Alright. However, I just don't like a micro four thirds sensor. I really just prefer the full 35mm full frame. I love the low light sensitivity, and the field of view is just, I like a full frame sensor. But because it was one of the first cameras to have 4K internal, I had to buy it, because I think that's, at the time, that was very extraordinarily rare for a mirrorless camera or DSLR type camera to have 4K resolution. I mean, okay, so let's take a look at the new GH5. The specs are impressive, but again, we're still looking at a micro four thirds sensor. So we have 4K at 60 frames per second. Great, excellent. I would love to see 60 frames per second slow motion in 4K. 1080p is fantastic. 4K slow motion, oh, be fantastic. We got a 422 10-bit codec, 4K video up to 30 frames per second. That looks like it's internal. So now we have 422 color space 10-bit codec in 4K internal without using a recorder. So the GH4 right now has to use an external recorder to record 10-bit. Now it looks like we can record 10-bit internal in the GH5. So that's great. That means you can sell your recorder now. You won't need it anymore, right? 1080p mode, we don't know yet if they will offer anything in higher frame rates. So far it's at 60 frames per second or 96 frames per second. Form factor is exactly the same as the GH4 and GH3. What else? That's all the specs we have right now. We can actually get out 6K resolution photos, still photos from videos that we took, that we shot. So I think that's a cool feature. And now they're saying that because the GH4 records 1080p at 200 megabits per second, which is incredible data write speed. there's a rare amount of memory cards that can write that fast. Expensive ones write that fast. So for a camera to write 200 megabits per second is crazy. The GH5 is supposed to write up to 250 megabits. That's what it looks like here. So that's great. It's not raw, but it's still pretty impressive. All right, here's a good question. How can I achieve stellar quality using a Canon 70D to give it a really cinematic look? Any suggestions? Okay, cool. So we talked about this earlier today. I'm sure you probably know about the rule of thirds by now, if you've been tuning in into this. We talked about the rule of thirds earlier, about film composition, how you should frame objects in different parts of the screen, in the frame, I mean. But when it comes down to a cinematic look, you don't only have to shoot in 23.97 frames, but there's also color correction that has to take place. So luckily, I have 3 or 4 color correction tutorials on my YouTube channel. I use Final Cut and Colorista 4 from Red Giant. You can download the trial. It's a 2-week trial, I believe. They have excellent color grading options with Colorista. It's very good, and it integrates flawlessly into Final Cut Pro. And it also integrates into Premiere Pro, I believe, as well. However, if you want a free program, download DaVinci Resolve Lite. So go on Google, type in DaVinci Resolve Lite. That's its own platform, its own program that just focuses on color correction. But if you check out my channel, you can probably take some notes from what I did in my videos, and I adjust contrast, midtones, highlights. I do all these different things. I mess with saturation. I put different what looks like filters, some vintage filters. I really manipulate colors. I can't really go into detail with that because I'm not showing you my editing station right now. I'm not showing you my program right now, so I can't go in detail. But if you check out my videos, I show you exactly how I edit them. I actually, let me pull out, I don't know if you know who this is, but I work with a girl, a fitness model named Ingrid Romero. I came out with, I think it's a little under an hour video on how to make a 60-second Instagram video, and what I did, I showed you how to do it cinematically. So let me go ahead and find that link and send it to you. Take a look at how I edit, and that should give you some inspiration and help you out in finding a cinematic style. So let me go ahead and find that video for you really quick. Give me a second. Here it is. It's a really good video. I got some great feedback out of it. This is a real-life editing session, so I've been exactly what you see on the screen. I delivered to the client, which is Ingrid. I gave it to her immediately after I was done editing this. So this is a real-life editing session. This was not pre-planned or anything like that. So check out this link here. Let me double-check, make sure it's the right link. And check out Ingrid Romero as well. Check that out and see how you like it. I got great feedback out of this video because people learned, even if you don't have Final Cut, all video editing software is very similar. Timeline and effects, they're all very similar. You can just take a look at how I edited this video. Okay. Yeah. People, I'm looking at the comments now, people really liked it. And especially if you're learning Final Cut Pro, this is a great video that teaches you how to use Final Cut Pro. So take a look at that video. People liked it. I liked it. I thought making it was really important for my subscribers. So take a look at that video and let me know what you think. But then again, I have a whole library of videos on my YouTube channel that will benefit you in making cinematic looks, cinematic styles. But yeah. But listen, here's the thing. Just because I tell you to do something doesn't mean that you should. I want you to take what I tell you and change it into your own look, into your own style. Don't necessarily think that my style is the dominant style and should be used for all of your projects. No. Take my style and make it better. Put it in your own style. Create your own videos. I should be able to look at your video and say, yes, I know who made this. Just by looking at your style, I should be able to tell you who made this. Like whenever I watch a Spielberg movie, I know Spielberg did it just because of how it looks and the vibe and the feel. I know Ridley Scott's movies. I can tell Ridley Scott made these movies just by looking at it. I don't have to see the credits to know it was a Ridley Scott movie. I can look at it and it's like, oh, Ridley Scott, who happens to be one of my favorite directors. Ridley Scott. Phenomenal director. I know it was his movie. I can just look and I know. The DP and director work hand in hand with framing, and so they have similar minds. So they have to work hand in hand in order to make a good movie. So I know that Ridley Scott had a huge input on framing and color. So I definitely can see Ridley Scott as one of my favorite directors. Yeah, so check out that video. Let me know what you think. But create your own style. All right? If you agree with everything, I like this. This is what they taught me in school, back in college. My philosophy teacher, she was phenomenal. She told me if that I agreed with everything she taught me, that she didn't teach me anything. So if you agree with everything I teach you, then I didn't teach you anything. This is a creative field. You're supposed to have your own taste, your own feel, your own style to this. So you're not supposed to agree with me on everything. On anything, no. I mean on everything. I have a lot of thumbs down on some of my videos because people don't agree with some of my tactics and some of my approaches, and that is perfectly fine. I encourage people to have their own style, their own sense of what filmmaking is. That's exactly what it's supposed to be. So keep that in mind. Have your own style, create your own style, and feel your own style. Okay? So yeah, defining your own style is key when becoming a filmmaker. Okay? Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream. We've been going on for about 42 minutes. I want to thank all of you supporting this channel. We're almost there at 10,000 subscribers, and then my next goal, my next landmark will be 100,000. So I can't wait. And I will see you back here in a few hours when I get my Kame TV Argo gimbal, and we're going to unbox it together and play around with it, okay? So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to go make some food. I'm going to go cook. Right? All filmmakers need to know how to cook, I guess, right? Or eventually we'll be so rich that we'll have our own cooks. Let's look at it at that point of view. All right? Do I have a contact email? Yes, I do. Let me give it to you right now. Here's my contact email. info@capturethemomentum.com. Thank you, Spencer. I appreciate you checking out the channel. Hopefully you subscribe because I do release new videos every week. I do live streams every week, multiple live streams. I release one review or one tutorial video every Monday at 5 a.m. So be sure to check those out. And when you're subscribed, you should be notified when I release something new. Alright guys, signing off here, Josh Morgan from Momentum Productions. I will talk to you in a few hours when I get the Kame TV Argo. Peace.